The Hoodwin of the Week this week is The Accountant versus Dexter. The Accountant, Ben Affleck's. I don't even. I know he's got a name. I don't want to use it. Call him The Accountant. Okay? From the movie The Accountant and the sequel The Accountant 2,
Yep.
out in theaters now. And of course, Dexter from the famous Showtime show Dexter. God, what a great battle.
Well, I'll start by saying a few things. First of all, I have not yet seen The Accountant 2. I do love the original, The Accountant, so I do plan to watch it. But and listen, because it's Affleck, I ain't worried. But Den of Thieves was the first movie sequel that like resonated with me in terms of like sometimes more isn't always sometimes you got to think smaller. This is, like sometimes you don't need the sequel. So I'm a little bit nervous, but regardless of that, I think that Ben Affleck's character, the accountant, is one of the coolest characters of all time. One, keep in mind he has an all-time man in the chair on his side. Um, I don't. It's not his sister, but it's his like friend from that home. You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking
Right.
about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, he is very, very calculated, super smart, able to overcome things like mentally, physically. Like he doesn't get, part of him being how he is like he kind of lacks emotion in a lot of senses. So he doesn't get clouded. Like that's his whole thing because he has to fight his brother at the end of the first movie, and he does a lot of training specifically to make sure that nothing, affects him. Like he just is task oriented. He gets a goal and he completes it, and he is super rich. He's a killer, and physically he's, you know, a monster. He beats the shit out of everybody that gets in his way, and he shoots a lot of people, and the whole nine there. Dexter, on the other hand, is a sociopath. I guess is that the correct
He's a
term?
full psychopath.
He's a psychopath. So
Yeah.
his his advantage is one, like again, he had no problem killing people. So this fight's definitely nobody's walking away from this one. Somebody's definitely dying.
Yeah.
Um, but two, he has that ability to manipulate and kind of work his way around things. Now, here's the problem. I think if there were a crossover series where the accountant showed up in the town that Dexter was it Miami or somewhere in Florida, right?
Yeah, I think it is Miami. It's somewhere up close there.
Um, like, dude, the accountant would see right through Dexter instantly. He would be like, "Yo, you guys do realize that this guy that you're hiring to help solve these murders is the one committing them, right? Like that's he'd be like, this is the most obvious thing I've ever seen in my life. Like this is your guy. It would be. I mean, he'd open one group spreadsheet, one Excel document, and he'd be like, dude, it's fucking Dexter. He's obviously the murderer. How have you guys not? There's an entire police department surrounding this guy. So I don't know. I think with that in mind and the physical attributes, like I automatically start to lean towards the accountant. But again, you can never count out a psychopath.
Yeah, and I'll say, you're absolutely right that the accountant would honestly game recognize game. Like the accountant would be like, "Oh yeah, this guy is absolutely a serial killer." You're right in that. I don't know how much that would actually help him in this fight though. Really just realizing that. Dexter, I will say, also like really in shape, really strong. I can't. It's
Yeah,
been a while since I've watched the series, so I don't know if he's like trained exactly a lot, but he can hold his own in a lot of ways. Maybe not with the accountant necessarily, but you know, the accountant obviously he's rich. He's the best at what he does. That's why people come to him. But Dexter, he doesn't need all that. He does it for the love of the game. And I think Dexter has definitely killed more people than the accountant just because it's it's his fucking hobby. The accountant, that's his job, and it's what he's great at, and he knows how to
Yeah,
capitalize on that.
yeah.
Dexter,
I
whether
gotta
he was,
rewatch that movie
I mean, I'm definitely doing a
and see how
rewatch
many
before I watch
people.
a sequel.
I gotta see how many people he actually kills. But he is like military trained in some way, shape, or form,
Oh yeah,
and
no,
he does
he's
fuck a
killed.
lot of people up because
I
he
mean,
deals with a
he's
lot of dangerous people.
yeah, and he's hitting double digits for sure. But Dexter is like, I mean, that guy is just.
Yeah, he be
I mean,
killing.
some people golf, some people cover a room in plastic and cut people open. That's just the way. That's just the way the world works. I hate to break it to you, folks, but that's just the way the world works.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, listen, you nailed it. Right, right there.
So at the end of the day, this is really, really close.
It
And
does.
not for
I
nothing,
do agree with you. Oh, go ahead.
not for nothing. But Dexter is hiding in plain sight to all these regular people. The accountant, like we said, is going to see through that. But not for nothing, Dexter has worked himself into this position somehow where he's doing the most killing and he's like the least suspect guy, which is
Yeah.
impressive.
But
Again,
the
if that's really going
accountant
to help him
the
in the fight,
accountant
I
is
don't know.
kind of like that too though. He just lives in his plain old house, and he has his one fork, one spoon, and one knife,
Yeah.
and you know, he
Well,
just goes about his business. And then he's got his secret assassin trailer.
here's the thing about the accountant that you have to realize. You have to realize he's got more in common with Einstein than he does with us. Okay, that's what people need to recognize in terms of the accountant. I
I do agree with your point where like Dexter killing for the love of the game is a lot different than what the accountant does. He kills because that's the task in front of him oftentimes.
yeah,
Um, I
he
don't know
kills.
that
Sorry,
he would want to like he doesn't kill out of passion.
yeah, the
Whereas
accountant
Dexter,
kills as if he's solving a
this
Rubik's cube.
this could be a classic. This could be a classic Cleveland Cavaliers example of sometimes heart beats talent. Um, Hard work beats talent. If talent doesn't work hard, not that the accountant doesn't work hard, but I do think Dexter's going to want this one. He's going to want this one as a notch in his belt. All that being said, sometimes talent is still enough to get you there, and I think this is that. I think the accountant's just too talented. I think he's too talented.
I do, for one thing, because Dexter is living this double life, the accountant doesn't mess with that. Like, Dexter has, I think, a lot more to lose, and he's got distractions, even though he's a psychopath, that the accountant just doesn't have. And I think that the accountant's temperament and his training, I am taking the accountant. I think this is a great fucking battle, but I'm taking the accountant on this one. That's where my money's got to go.
I love it. Vote on that on Instagram on Friday. Clean sweep for the accountant over Dexter. Yeah, great battle there. Big fan of that one.